Welcome to Casense.
You're waiting in line, or maybe there's a tiny lull in a conversation. Before you even realize what you're doing, your hand reaches into your pocket and pulls out your phone. It's easy to beat yourself up when this happens. We blame these moments on a short attention span or a lack of willpower, but it's neither. What you are experiencing is the result of a precise framework called the hooked model. App developers use this exact blueprint to engineer these everyday impulses. This model acts as the invisible architecture that dictates how we spend hours of our digital lives. Once you learn how to spot the framework in action, you can finally start deciding which of those habits you actually want to keep. The hooked model was developed by a researcher named Nir Eyal. He wanted to understand exactly how certain products get us to come back again and again, all without spending a dime on advertising. Habit-forming products rely on a continuous cycle of 4 distinct steps: a trigger, an action, a variable reward, and an investment. Go through this cycle enough, and the experience spins into an automatic reflex, turning a conscious choice into a daily habit. Let's look at how this works in practice using a language learning app called Lingo. Every loop starts right here, with a trigger. At first, this is an external cue, like an alert popping up on your screen to remind you to practice. But over time, that shifts to an internal trigger, like the emotional desire to protect your hard-earned daily learning streak. The ultimate goal for the app is to link its use to an emotion, even a mild one, like boredom or curiosity. When you feel that specific emotion, the app naturally becomes the very first thing that pops into your head. But a trigger only works if you actually follow through. That brings us to step 2, the action. If starting a language lesson takes 5 minutes of navigating menus, you will probably give up before you even start. Behavioral scientist BJ Fogg notes that any action requires a trigger, motivation, and the ability to do it. Lingo keeps the required ability extremely low. They make the action as simple as opening the app and doing a quick 2-minute lesson. While the trigger points you toward the door, the required action is designed to be so effortless that you just fall right through it. Now you're inside the app, and you've done the work. You want a payoff. This is step 3, the variable reward. If a system gives you the exact same prize every single time, your brain quickly gets bored and stops paying attention. Take a look at this vintage vending machine. You put in a coin, you open the door, and you pull out a slice of pie. It's a highly predictable transaction. It does exactly what you expect. But you won't compulsively buy pies all day just to see what happens. Now look at a slot machine. You put in a coin, and the reel spin. You might win big, you might get a small payout, or you might get absolutely nothing. That slight unpredictability creates an intense psychological pull. It forces your brain to ask, what will I get next? The Lingo app uses this exact mechanism to keep their lessons fresh. Instead of a predictable completion screen, they mix in surprise praise, occasional bonus points, and unexpected challenges. By keeping the payoff variable, the app taps directly into our deep evolutionary drive to hunt for information and resources. You keep playing because your brain wants to discover what is waiting for you at the end of the lesson. This brings us to the final step, the investment. This is where you put a little bit of your own work into the product, whether that means customizing a profile, uploading content, or building up a daily streak over several weeks. Every time you invest your time or data, the platform stores that value. You have built up progress that you don't want to lose, which actively raises your personal commitment to the app. But here is the mechanical secret of this phase. The investment actually loads the next trigger. If you build a 5-day streak, the fear of losing that streak becomes the internal cue that brings you back for day 6. That connection transforms a single, isolated transaction into a reliable engine for keeping people coming back over the long run. Of course, there is an ethical hazard here. The exact same framework that can successfully teach you a new language is also used by social media feeds to harvest your attention for hours on end. Because these tools are so effective, Nir Eyal created something he calls the manipulation matrix. It acts as an ethical test for developers who design these products. The core rule of the matrix is straightforward. Product designers should only implement these habit loops if the product genuinely improves the user's life, rather than exploiting their psychological impulses. Behavioral design itself is completely neutral. Its morality depends entirely on whether the application provides you with lasting value or simply extracts value from you. Even well-meaning developers can accidentally break their own loops if they introduce a new update that adds too much friction to an action, or if their variable rewards become completely predictable. The user's interest naturally drops. And the most fatal mistake a designer can make is forgetting the investment step entirely. If a user doesn't put anything of their own into the system, there is simply nothing pulling them back for a second try. But when all the pieces align, a clear trigger, a simple action, an engaging variable reward, and a meaningful investment, the system works perfectly. Understanding the mechanics of the hooked model gives you a new perspective on your digital habits. You can recognize when a design is trying to manipulate your attention, and you can intentionally choose to build healthy loops that actually serve you.